Hello all, welcome to this session on creating dashboards in Excel. And today we are going to learn how to create dynamic dashboard. Okay. Now, those who are new to this concept of dashboard, I'll just briefly explain what is a dashboard. So a dashboard is a pictorial presentation of data, or you can say we can visualize the data in a visual format or a image format so that we can comprehend it well, or we can understand how to do analysis from the data. When we talk about Excel, we always have one thing in our mind, that it is a software which is used to work with numbers or data, or to create some calculation, do some calculations and do some charts and all. But that is true to some extent, because Excel is definitely used to work with numbers and do a lot of calculations, but that is a limited use of Excel. What we are going to learn today is how to use Excel to the fullest extent, and how to make it dynamic and interactive, and how we can create wonderful visuals with the Excel. Okay. So what you see on the screen is a data set, which is basically a sales data or a financial data, you can say, of a company. It's a dummy data or a fictional data of a corporate. So you have row ID, you have order ID, you have order date, year, ship date, ship mode, order ID, customer ID, segment, country, city, state, postal code, region, product ID, category, subcategory, product name, and you have four columns: sales, quantity, discount, and profit. Okay. So what I've done is I have written these all the column headings in one column, that is why. And now we will do one thing over here. I will ask you to tell me, like, what is the characteristics of these data set that we have. These are the columns. So before we create a dashboard, or before we do data analytics, okay, so basically this session will help you in understanding how to do business analytics or data analytics, because it's a buzzword nowadays, and all the businesses want that the people who are working with them, they should know how to analyze the data, how to visualize the data, how to understand the data, so as to take the right decisions. Okay. Now, if I ask you, for a business, what is the most important element when it comes to numbers? For business, what is the most important number? You can unmute and answer, or you can put it in the chat box, whatever you are comfortable with. And the more you participate, the more you will get from this session. Yes. So for the business, what figure is most important? If you are a business owner, or if you are a CEO, or you're a startup, what do you think would be the figure that you will be looking for? You can put your answers in the chat. Let's make this session interactive. So yes, Pintu has written sales. Okay. And someone has raised his hand. Jagdish, you you can answer. You can speak.
Hello.
Customer database. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
customer database is most important, like according to me.
okay. No, I was asking about the number of figure. Okay. So customer database might have the number of customers or the customer details and all. But for a business, what is more important, as people are writing, is profit. Okay. But let me tell you, Sakshi, Deepthi, and people who have answered profit. Okay. Where do you derive profit from, and how do you derive profit? See, in my list, the last thing that I've written is profit. Obviously, profit is very important for any business. But if I ask you how profit is derived, what would you say? How do you derive profit? By doing what? What leads to profit? Profit is the end result. Yes, sales. Exactly. So sales is the initial figure that every company is looking to achieve. Targets. When we close the year, we say when we close the quarter, we say what are that sales target? Have we achieved the targets or not? Am I right? So the most important figure for any business is obviously profit, but profit is derived from sales. So the most important figure where that we can understand is sales. So we need to analyze the data, like how the sales are doing and how we are doing on sales and all, and and profit. So what we can do is all these data that we have. So let me just go walk you through the data. And those who have joined lately, okay, I will be sharing this file again in the chat box. You can download it if you are logged in through your mobile, through your laptop, sorry. Okay, and those who would be watching this recording afterwards, I will be putting this on YouTube. So in that description, I will share the link of this file so you can download and practice it. Okay. So what are we going to see in this particular session? In the next 45 minutes, I'm going to talk about how to comprehend this data, how to make the summary out of this data, because data can be vast. Now, if I show you the data, it is consisting of 9,995 rows, almost 10,000 rows data it is. And you can see that a lot of rows are columns are there. Okay, so column A to column we have. Okay, so we all know that there are 26 alphabets in the English. Okay, so 26 alphabet is Z. So if you remove the 4 alphabets from the last, you get 22. So there are 22 columns in this particular data set and 9,995 rows. So data is very extensive, very vast, right? Now what we need to understand from the data set is that how to make a summary from this data. Okay, now if I ask you any question, if I ask you a question, so this is the data which is presented to you, which is given by your boss to you, and the boss is asking some questions. Okay, the boss is asking you, just give me a summary, like how we are doing, how the company is going, are the sales increasing or not. By looking at this sheet, can you answer this question? I have a question to everyone. Okay, so if we see the year, if you see the year, there are 14, 15, 20 to 23. So there are 4 years data which is there. Okay. Now, if I ask you a question, looking at this data, can you answer how the company is doing on sales? Is the sales increasing, not increasing? Can you give a trend analysis, something like that? The answer is absolutely no. We cannot do that. Okay, if the CEO, if I want to find out like what is the total sales done in the year 2022, 2024, 2025, or 2015 or something like that, I will not be able to derive that answer. If I want to find out like which segment is doing well, which segment is not doing well, which state we are deriving the largest revenue from, okay, which customer is giving us the most sales, which category is going good, which category is not going good, so many questions would be there, right? And looking at the data, can I get the answer? Can anyone derive an answer looking at this data? This data is very humongous. It's like absolutely very huge data. By looking at the data, we cannot get these answers. Okay. Now, whatever questions I put to you, what do you think are these questions very relevant questions? Are these important or not? Just put a yes or no in the chat box. Are these questions which I put you, are these relevant? Do you think anyone who is running the business would want to know all these figures or not? Yes. And if you are working in the finance department, or if you are in the operations or in the sales or marketing, you would be the person who would be responsible to present a report to the management about with these figures. Am I right? So definitely this is very important. And now what we need to do is we need to summarize this data. Okay. Now, those who have attended my previous sessions or those who have worked with Excel, okay, I have a question to you all. And with your all your knowledge about Excel, try to answer this question. Which tool of Excel we'll use to summarize this data? I want to find out the sales, year-wise sales, okay? And Jagdish has given this answer, pivot table.
Pivot
Pivot
table,
table.
pivot chart.
Yes, pivot table, pivot chart. You are all right. And those who could not answer, okay, maybe the concept of pivot table is not is new to you, correct? Now, let us understand how we can simplify this data or comprehend this data or summarize the data using pivot table, okay? And it will take a fraction of minute, okay? In 1 minute, we'll be able to summarize this data. Now, Are you all excited to know how we can summarize this data? If you are excited, you can write down the word excited in the chat box. Okay, I want to see some energy flowing in because it's a virtual meeting. We cannot see each other. Okay, so chat box is the only medium through which we can communicate, and learning is a two-way process. It never happens one way. Okay, so if you're listening to me, if you're not interacting, then I will never come to know whether you are learning or not. Okay, it's just like that, you're watching a YouTube channel or a video on YouTube, a recorded video, and maybe you're understanding, not understanding. Okay, but you are watching. Okay, but when you attend a live session, you have the opportunity to speak, to clear out your doubts, and to show some communication. And that is why I prefer doing a live sessions. Okay, and let's get started. Okay, so now we are going to learn how to create a pivot table. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to select the entire data first. So I have pressed Control A. Control A will help you select the entire data. Okay, and then we need to go to Insert, and in the Insert, the first option that you see is pivot table. Okay, I hope it is visible to everyone. Pivot table. Now, when you click on the pivot table, you get many options like from table or range, from external data source. Now, Excel has a capability to connect with external data source also, but right now the data is in front of us in Excel in a table format, so we will select table or range. Okay, so when we select table and range, we get this option of pivot table from table or range, and you can see, let me just zoom in, you can see a dialog box. Can you see a dialog box? Pivot table from table or range, and the table is named as DT. DT, I've named this table. DT means data table. So I've named this table as a data table, and now it is asking me whether you want to create a pivot table in a new sheet or an existing sheet. So what do you think? Should we create the pivot table in the new sheet or in the existing sheet? Okay, I'm sharing the file one more time with you all. Yeah, just give me a moment. Let me share this file with people. So just give me one moment. Yes, definitely we will select a new sheet and I'll click on OK. Okay, so we are here. A new sheet is being created. Let me just save this file with a different name and share it again in the chat box. Okay, so we have created a pivot table and now I am on a new sheet. Okay, now can you see that a layout is displayed in the new sheet? Okay, a layout is displayed in the new sheet. Okay, so I have shared the file in the chat box. Those who have joined recently can download it and open it, and you can join me. Okay, now see. We have created, there is a layout of pivot table. Now, when you click on this layout, you will get to see a pivot table field. You will get to see a dialog box like this. Now, why it is called as a dialog box? Can anyone tell me why this is called as a dialog box? Anyone? You can try. If you don't know the answer, there is no harm. You can try. Why this is called as a dialog box?
So because it is an interactive box, when you interact with others.
Very good. Yeah, it is interactive. You can do dialogue. You can talk to that field and it will interact. Okay. Now see, this is a pivot table field. Okay. This is a dialog box. And what do you see here? There is a list of all the columns which we had. If you remember the data, we have order ID and order date, ship date, customer name, segment, sales, profit. All these columns that we had are represented over here. Okay, and there are four sections to it: filter, column, rows, and values. There are four sections to it. Okay, now what we need to do to summarize the data is we need to just drag and drop the data into the pivot table. We need to just do drag and drop. It is as simple as a drag and drop. Okay, so we will do that. Okay, but what I prefer is there is a gearbox over here. You can see there is a settings button over here. When you click on it, we will do field section and area section side by side. a small adjustment we need to do in the pivot table, okay, the layout. So now do you see that the layout has changed? Earlier we were seeing all the list on the top, and there was 4 sections, okay, divided into 2 by 2. But now you can see the field section is on the left hand side, and the 4 sections are on the right hand side, and they are aligned in a very neat manner. Okay, so this presentation is better or the previous one was better? So this one is better or the previous one was better?
This one, sir.
This one. Okay. So now what we need to do, and see those who are attending this session for the first time, and I know there are students who are learning pivot table for the first time. Okay. This is a great tool. Okay, let me tell you. And this is just the beginning of what we are going to, what you are going to witness in the coming time. Okay. But if someone doesn't know pivot table and is working in a corporate, God bless you. ओके, आई विल से कि भगवान आपका भला करे, क्योंकि अगर आपको पिवट नहीं आता तो आप ज्यादा टाइम कॉर्पोरेट में टिक नहीं पाएंगे, ठीक है? तो विद दिस नोट, take this seriously and learn pivot table. If you're not working in a corporate but you are working for yourself, or if you are someone who is dealing with data, तो पिवट टेबल आपको आना चाहिए, ठीक है? और अभी आपको खुद ही समझ में आ जाएगा कि क्यों सीखना बहुत जरूरी है इसको, ठीक है? नाउ व्हाट आई आस्क्ड यू अ क्वेश्चन दैट व्हाट इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट फिगर? द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट फिगर वाज सेल्स. तो अभी मुझे ये जानना है कि जितना भी मेरे पास डेटा है, लेट मी शो यू द डेटा अगेन, दोज हु जॉइंड नाउ. This is the data set that we are working on. This is a huge data, and in the data, the last column is the sales column, and I want to find out the total sales. अभी जिन लोग को भी बोलते हैं कि हमें तो एक्सेल आता है, एक्सेल में क्या है, एक सम फॉर्मूला ही तो होता है, ठीक है? तो मैं आपको सम फॉर्मूले से शुरुआत करता हूँ. तो यू विल सी कि आई वांट टू फाइंड आउट द टोटल सेल्स. सो व्हाट आई विल डू इज आई विल पुट द सम फॉर्मूला एट द एंड, ओके, एंड आई गेट दिस फिगर. Is it visible to everyone? In the bottom, can you see a figure at the bottom? Just give me a
Yes,
moment.
sir.
Yeah, and just yes, yeah, this is the one. 22,97,200 is the total sales. Okay, so it was very simple. We had applied sales formula. Now let us do something different today. Okay, now what we are going to do is we are going to put the sales into values. Okay, now there are 4 compartments or 4 sections. One is filter, row, columns, and values. Value has a sigma, that means it will show the summation. Okay, so what I did is I just dragged and dropped the sales into values, and do you see the same figure over here, 22,97,200? Without applying the sales formula, am I getting the sales amount? Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay. Are be active in the chat box. Come on. Okay. So everyone shoot in yes in the chat box. Come on. Shoot in yes. Are we getting the sales? Now I want to see the sales. I want to see the sales by year. I want to see the sales by year. So what I will do is I will put the year into rows. Okay. I will put the year into rows. Now, do you see a column, a heading with year? Okay. So we have year, order date, order date. We have a order date. Okay. And order date will definitely have years also. So we will put the order date year into rows. Now, when I put the year date into rows, okay, you see that we have got 4 years ka data, 2014, 15, 16, 17. Just by dragging and dropping a field into a area, into a section, I'm getting the total of the year-wise sales. Isn't it amazing, guys? Isn't what you are seeing is amazing? Tell me yes or no. Isn't it easy?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is definitely very amazing and it's very interesting tool. Okay, so definitely we should learn it. Okay, now you have 4 years and you have 4 years ka data. Okay, now you can easily answer okay, how the trend is going. Is the sales increasing and decreasing? So if I ask you from 14 to 15, has the sales increased or decreased? Tell me. From the year
Decrease, sir.
decrease. So it is 484 and it is 470. So there is a
Decrease.
downfall. There is a decrease. From 15 to 16, what is the sales trend? From 15 to 16?
Increased.
Increased. and from 16 to 17 there is a increase. Okay, so there is 1 year, in 1 year from 14 to 15 there is a decrease, otherwise the sales is increasing from 15 to 17 years, 17 onwards. Okay, but the management विल से ओके ये तो मुझे भी दिखता है, अंधा नहीं हूं मैं। ठीक है, अभी एनिमल मूवी अगर कोई देख के आया आपका बॉस, तो वो बोलेगा ज्यादा सिखा मत, अंधा नहीं हूं। ठीक है तो ही कैन सी दैट कि मुझे भी दिख रहा है, बट अभी हमें उसको बोलना है कि आप अंधे नहीं हो, लेकिन आपको जो नहीं दिख रहा ना वो मैं आपको दिखाना चाहता हूँ। वो बोलेगा क्या नहीं दिख रहा? बोले अभी आपको दिख रहा है क्या कितने परसेंट से सेल इंक्रीज हुआ है या कितने परसेंट से सेल डिक्रीज हुआ है? चलो बताओ। ठीक है, तो tell me, can you tell me कि what is the percentage increase of sales or decrease in sales? Is it visible to everyone? Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
क्या परसेंटेज चेंज है बताओ, कितना परसेंट से डिक्रीज हुआ, कितना परसेंट से इंक्रीज हुआ? इज इट विजिबल? मनोरंजन इज सेइंग यस। नाउ टेल मी मनोरंजन, व्हाट इज द परसेंटेज, वेयर कैन यू सी? कौन सी आंखों से देख रहे हो आप? हमें तो नहीं दिख रहा।
सर परसेंटेज नहीं, वैल्यू वैल्यू दिख रहा है।
हाँ वैल्यू दिख रहा है, तो आई एम आस्किंग परसेंटेज, देयर इज अ ह्यूज डिफरेंस बिटवीन वैल्यू एंड परसेंटेज। आई एम आस्किंग परसेंटेज दिख रहा है क्या?
नहीं नहीं, परसेंटेज नहीं दिख रहा है।
नहीं दिख रहा, अभी दिखाते हैं। ठीक है, now let me show you how you can convert this into a percentage. Okay, so Harshil has given the answer in the chat box. Add sales column again in the value and then right click and change the type and show as values. Okay, so very good Harshil, thank you for your contribution. So what I've done is I've added only one, I've added one more time sales in the pivot table. So now you can see two columns with the same numbers. Okay. In the second column, we will change the heading and we will say sales as percentage. Okay. And now what we'll do is we'll convert this into a percentage. Now how to convert this into a percentage? Okay. So when you put this into a value, you click on the field section over here and you go to value field settings. Value field settings, so you'll get sum, count, average, max, min, product. Okay, and here you will not get the option of percentage. Okay, but what we'll do is we will right click on this and there is an option of summarize values by. Okay, or sorry, show values as, show values as. Okay, and now it will show us, we want to see the percentage, correct? So we can say that percentage difference from. Okay, so percentage difference from. Now what you want to do, base year we are taking as 2024 and you want to see the percentage difference. Now see what do you see now? Now do you see something, guys? Now do you see?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So can you now understand that what we just did in the last 10 minutes? Okay, in 5 to 10 minutes time, what we have done is the data, which was a humongous data, we have converted that data into a small summary table, and that table is giving us very meaningful result as to what is the sales and what is the growth or decline. So there is a 2.83% decline in the sales from the year 2014 to 2015, and there is a 25% increase from the base year of 14, and in the year 2017 there is an increase of 50% in the sales. Okay, and we did not apply any formula. Did we use any formula or function over here? क्या कोई फंक्शन या फॉर्मूला लगाया हमने? क्या
No,
कुछ
sir.
कैलकुलेशन किया? नो नो नो, without writing a simple function, any complex function, we have put it in a meaningful manner using what? Pivot table. Now let me show another magic. Okay, how to check year on percentage, how to check year on year. Okay, year on year form. Okay, so you want to see year on year without changing the base. Okay, now what you can do is, if you want to see year on year, we can do year on year also. Now what we'll do is we'll put sales one more time. Now we have one more and we'll say YOY growth. Okay, Y on Y. So right click on this and you will have show values as, okay, and now we have difference, percentage difference from. So this is showing as a base item, and we have, so here we have previous. Okay, so we can say previous or next. Okay, so if I select previous and click on OK, now it is showing me some different percentages. Can you see different percentage in this YOY growth column? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
So the first is same because in the previous year there are only two figures, so it will remain same. But now, can anyone explain you what is the difference between 25% in this column and 29% in this column? What is the difference? Why there is a difference in the percentage? And if you have answered this correctly, that means you have understood the concept of what has happened. $25 is from 2024 and 27 is from 2015. Yes, so Jagdish also has given the right answer. Chetan is also on the right answer. So the only difference which is there in both the percentages is that in this year, we have taken the base year as 2014. So percentage change from base year 2014. Okay, so we have taken 2014 as a base year here in this particular case. Okay, but in the next column, what we have done is we have taken year-on-year growth. So there is a year-on-year growth. Okay, now the management says, okay, that is fine, but I want to see a graph, I want to see a chart, I want to see a trend. Okay, and because numbers speak well, but pictures speak larger than numbers. Okay, anything else? So I want to see a chart. Now, how do we insert a chart? So to insert a chart, we'll go to insert, and there is a category of recommended charts. Okay, why we will like to go for recommended charts? Because it is a kind of AI tool which is there in Excel, and it will recommend based on your data what chart you should create. Okay, so it is recommending a cluster chart, but whenever there is a trend that you want to see, you want to do a trend analysis, so the best chart that you should use is a line chart. Okay, because it will show you the pattern, the trend, how it is going. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I am creating a line chart. Now do you see a chart on the screen? Do you see the chart on the screen? Yes or no? Do you see a chart on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes. 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 Okay. So don't try to do along with me. Okay, just try to focus on learning first. Okay, maybe you can watch this again and try it on your own. Okay, and if you're trying to do it with me, then you can say so. So I will wait. Okay, but what we need to understand here is that we had this pivot table. From the pivot table, we have created a pivot chart. So this is a pivot table, this is a pivot chart. Okay, now this chart is showing a trend. Okay, and we can beautify this chart, we can do some makeup over here, and what we can do is we can click on this plus button and we can add a data label. Now, do you see the numbers of sales also? Do you see the number of sales also? Do you see the sales figures? How to know that what kind of data we will use?
Yes, sir.
Chart. Okay, very good question, Arbindu. So what kind of chart to use for what kind of data? Okay, so definitely it will come from knowledge, experience, practice, and some kind of knowledge, basic knowledge you should have. Okay, but if you are starting to learn analytics from the beginning, okay, then I will suggest you one method of finding out like which chart to use for what. Okay, and that is the method of trial and error. Okay, trial and error, experimenting. See, I learn everything on my own. Excel, Power BI, Tableau, SQL, all these technologies I have learned by myself, by practicing, by exploring, by watching videos and all. Okay, but I had a hunger inside me to learn things, okay, and I did a lot of experiment and curiosity. So if you have a curiosity to learn, you can learn all these things, okay. Now see, I will give you an idea of how to decide what chart to use, okay. Now suppose I select this data again, and I go to recommended charts, insert and recommended charts, and now it is showing me this bar chart, and let me take this column chart. Okay, now I will place both the charts side by side and will ask you a question. Okay, let me place this chart side by side, and let me ask you some question. Let me close this also, we don't want this. Okay, now yeah, so Harshal is saying trial and error is also best in pivot. You can switch between rows and columns field for data as per your need. Yes. So this session is intended just to guide you as to how to learn to create a pivot table. Okay. And pivot table is such a vast topic, and this dashboard creation is such a vast topic. It cannot be covered in 1 hour. Okay. The ads that you see on YouTube, on Instagram, that come to a master class 2 hours and you'll become a master and you can earn 25 lakh rupees of package or this and that. And now AI has come, now you don't have to remember any formula. All this is bullshit. All this is bullshit. Okay. They are just some creators who are fooling people by calling people to their master classes and then selling their courses and all. Okay. I am a trainer. I'm a teacher. I am an Excel expert, not an expert. I'm a Excel student, I must say. Okay, I learn Excel on a daily basis, and I love to teach. Is that is why I'm teaching, and I don't charge fees for this challenge that I want, because my objective is to make people understand what they can do with Excel. And I also run courses, but I don't force people to join my courses. It's their choice whether they want to join or not. Yes, but we can have a full day session or a workshop on creating dashboards. Okay, just a way to show you like what all can be done. Okay, now I have a question for you all. You have a table, you have a chart on the left, you have a chart on the right. Okay, now what is the objective of creating this chart? We want to understand the data. Okay, now if I want to understand how my sales is doing on a year-on-year basis, okay, everyone participate in this question, okay, in the chat box, you can put down, if I want to understand how my sales is doing year-on-year basis, out of the three, what do you think is the most apt thing to see and get an idea about? Okay, what is the most correct way of looking at the sales on a year-on-year basis? First is a pivot table. Option one is pivot table. Second is the chart, which is a line chart. Third one is a chart, which is a bar chart or a column chart. Okay, you can write number 1, 2, or 3 as your answer. Okay, if you want to understand the pattern of sales, which option do you consider is the right option or the best option? The table, the line chart, or the column chart? All three are showing the same information, but in a different manner. So everyone is writing line chart on number 2. Why not this bar chart? Because bar chart is showing you the 4 different sales by using different bars, and you still need to understand see the length of the bar to understand how the bar are placed. Okay, they are increasing or decreasing. But when we talk about a trend means that there should be something continuous, and there is a line over here, and you can see that the line is increasing, and we have the numbers also. We can put the numbers on the bar also, but that bar kind of a thing doesn't give us that kind of look. Okay, now suppose I select this year, okay, and let us create one more chart, and let me show you like why we are not using different charts. Okay, and it will answer Arabindu question also, as how to decide what chart to use. So I'm using a pie chart now. I'm creating a pie chart. Okay, and when you create a pie chart, you will get a chart like this. Okay, now this pie chart, okay, it is showing the 4-year sales based on the 4-year sales, okay, and in a form of a pie. That means it is showing the 4-year sales. Okay, now let me ask you this question: is the pie chart a relevant chart to understand the 4-year sales or a trend in the sales? Is it a right chart to use? Yes or no? Is it a right chart to use? Not at all. No. But why no? Why not? Because see, pie chart we have to use when we have to see the contribution of sales from different segments or different categories or different year, but we want to see a trend. So pie chart just shows a portion. Okay, it's just like a pizza and you are having different slices of the pizza. Okay, but we don't want to see the different slices. We don't want to see the contribution. What we want to see is the trend, how the sales is going. Correct. So pie chart is definitely not the right chart. Okay. Now, if we talk about other charts, okay, so we have go to insert again and we go to recommended charts. We have a area chart also. Okay. So let me create an area chart and show you how the area chart will look like. So this is the area chart. Okay. Now, is this area chart giving us a good indication of the trend of sales? Are we can we derive any meaningful information from this area chart? See, it is also showing the trend and is showing this, but it is not giving some insightful information. Okay, when we have to use an area chart, when we have different segments and we want to see what segment is occupying how much area from the market, then we can use the area chart. Okay, so definitely this chart is also not a good chart to use. So when you try on yourself and when you experiment, you come to know what is the right chart to be used for our analysis. Am I right? Have you understood this concept of how to use which chart to use, how to find out which chart to use for what data? Yes. Now let us learn one more thing today before we end this session of how to make this dynamic, because the topic that I had put for the day is dynamic dashboard. Okay, and what is a dashboard? Dashboard means the summary of the data in a pictorial manner. So we had the data, which was very boring data here, okay, and a humongous data. But this we have created in a very interesting manner. And now I will create I will convert this into a dynamic chart, dynamic pivot table. Okay, now how to convert this into a dynamic? So when you click on the pivot table, you get an option of analyze pivot table, and in the analyze pivot table there is a filter which is called as slicer. So we will insert slicer and I will select two things. One is a segment and one is a category. Okay, and we can select a region also. So I've selected three slicers over here. Again, I will explain what is a slicer. Slicer is just like a filter. So whenever we want to filter our data based on any concept, okay, based on any parameter, we will use a slicer. Okay, so basically slicer will modify our data based on the different parameters that we are giving to the data. Okay, so this is a slicer. Now, what is the timeline? Before just after the slicer in the pivot table analyze, you will get a timeline also. So I will insert a timeline also. And there are two options, order date and ship date. Timeline means data related to time period. Okay, so this is a timeline. So I'm selecting a timeline, putting in the timeline over here. And instead of month, I will select years. So you will have 4 years, 4 options of 4 years, as we have 4 years ka data. So these slices I have put over here. Okay. Now, have you understood how do we get this slicer? And timeline is for date, correct? Timeline is for date and slicer is for any other option which is not a date. Okay. Now, what is the use of this slicer, guys? Okay. So now, what do you see? What you were seeing till now was a static data. Now we are going to create, make this data dynamic. Okay. Now focus on these charts and the numbers. Okay. And see, and let me know in the chat box, are they changing? Okay, are they changing when I do a selection from the filters? Are they changing or not? That you have to tell me in the chat box. If they are changing, you will write down changing. If they're not changing, you will say not changing. Okay, so I select consumer first. Okay, are they changing? Can you see that the data charts changing when I select?
Yes,
Yes. When I select the region, do you see these charts changing when I select the regions?
yes, sir.
Yes. When I select anything from the category, do you again see the charts changing?
Yes, sir.
So do you see that the office supplies category in the West region and in the consumer segment is the worst performing category, because you will see a declining sales in the year 14, 15, and 16. Only in the year 17, they had shown a growth of 7% as compared to the previous year, 85%. But otherwise, it was a declining category. If we talk about technology, it is increasing. If we talk about furniture, it was increasing, but the year 2017 it had declined. Okay. So what we have done is we have created dynamic charts. And when we select any year, you see that data for particular year only. Okay. So here we can see only 1 year. If I select these two, I'm getting to see 2 years. If I select these three, I'm getting to see 3 years. Have you understood? So this is called as dynamic dashboard. Okay. So I'll stop sharing my screen over here. Okay. And now I will keep the session open for any questions that you might have, or if you do not have any questions, if you want to ask anything, or if you want to share your feedback, how did you find this session? मजा आया आपको ये पिवट टेबल देख के, पिवट चार्ट देख के, और कुछ नया सीखने को मिला? Did you learn something new today? If you learned something new, you can write down yes, learned new things. Okay. Yes. So thank you everyone for joining in. And see, this session was open for everyone. Okay. And I sent it to many people. Okay. But only a few participated, because those who have participated, they are serious about learning things, new things. Okay. And it is a need of the hour. This was very much needed. Yes, definitely. And see, once when you're learning data analytics, this is the first step. When you build a strong foundation, your building will never collapse. Okay. If you do not have a strong foundation, your building can collapse anytime and nobody would be able to help you in that moment. Okay. So if you like the session, then I would say that tomorrow we will conduct the second part of it. Okay. And we will continue from where we left. Okay. So do join tomorrow and do practice. See, I can come 1 hour online and I can teach you. Okay. But if you do not practice, that 1 hour that you are investing here will be waste for you as well as me. Okay. Because time is very crucial and we are both investing our time with a purpose of learning something new. See, I know all these technology. I have been practicing it and I'm like very, what you can say, handy with these technologies. But why I teach people? Because I want them to learn. Okay. So yes, definitely. Then you can come up tomorrow also at the same time, 9 to 10 we'll have a session. And see, try to extempore, try to find out different ways of analyzing things, and try to get this, understand this data. Okay. I'm sharing the data file one more time because I could see that there are some people who joined recently. Okay. And for the benefit of those who have joined just now, the session is over, but I'm sharing the file one more time. Yeah. So analyze data. Yes, analyze data is a very good option. I will just take 2 minutes to just show you the analyze function because Harshil has put this thing. So I'm taking one more moment. I've shared my screen again and see. Let me show you this. And if you're using 365, you can do a lot of things. If you're not using 365, then you cannot do a lot of things. Okay. So when you select your data, you will get an option in the data tab of analyze data. Okay. So there is the option of data analysis. Okay. Now click on this and let's see what it shows us. Okay. Now see. So it shows us a dialog box and we have different options to select from. ANOVA, single factor, ANOVA, and all these things are there. What I will do is I will select let me select something and let us select correlation. Okay, and click on OK. Now, see, to show you exactly how it works, we'll have to let me try and select something which is simpler and easy to understand, because all these are statistical. So let us select descriptive statistics and let me input some range. Okay, so I'm inputting some of the numbers, sales number. Okay, and let us say, okay. So we need to select one statistical option. We can say largest. Okay, and say okay. See, I had selected a data from my data set and I just selected analyze data and I selected largest. It has given me the largest number. Okay. AI based pivot table. Okay, fine. Yes, that also can be done. Yes. See, when you click on the date, when you select the pivot table, now it will give you recommended pivot tables also. So I think he's talking about this. So when you select the data and you go to insert, okay, it says recommended pivot tables. So recommended means AI will recommend seeing the data, what kind of tables you can create. So you don't have to actually do it manually. You can use the table selected by given by this. Okay, so it is saying profit by subcategory and region. So let us insert this table first into a new sheet and see what we get. So it is giving me a table on its own. Okay, and AI has done this. I have not done this. Okay, so it is giving me the subcategory wise profit for the different regions. Okay, you can see this, guys. Okay, so we have got profit by subcategory and region. So these are the regions on the in the column and these are subcategories by in the rows. Okay, and we can do one more thing. We can just select this data. Okay, and we can go to the home tab and we can go to conditional formatting and we can say we can use this data bars. Okay, and we can put some bars over here, or you can say color schemes. Okay, now do you see colors in the cells? Okay, and the red color cells are showing the loss and the green color cells are showing the profit, and this is called as a heat map. Okay, so I think for today it is a lot of information that I've shared with you. इससे ज्यादा आप लोग बर्दाश्त नहीं कर पाओगे, ठीक है, समझ नहीं पाओगे, तो आज हम इस सेशन को यहीं पे एंड करेंगे, ठीक है. एंड आई होप यू लाइक दिस सेशन, एंड इफ यू लाइक दिस सेशन, recommended to your friends also. Share your opinion, your feedback in the groups so that people can see what they've missed. Okay, so we should create a FOMO factor among the people, that they are missing out on something if we are not joining anything, okay, any particular session. Okay, and those who are joining late, okay, some people are joining now. Okay, Rajdeep, you have come now. Okay, when the session is going to end, you are joining now. Okay, so definitely it's going to boost up people by investing time in learning. Okay, so those who could have joined the session but have not joined, okay, maybe they can join tomorrow if they get some motivation. Okay, so I have done my part. Now it is up to you whether you do practice or not, and if you do practice, definitely you will master this quickly. If you do not, then God bless you. Okay, so with this we'll end up this session. And नो, पिवट टेबल का ऑप्शन सिर्फ 365 में नहीं है. इट इज देयर इन ऑल द प्रीवियस वर्जन ऑफ एक्सेल. इंसर्ट करेंगे पिवट टेबल आपको दिख जाएगा, बट 365 हैज दिस रिकमेंडेड टेबल्स का ऑप्शन, वो और में नहीं होता है. ठीक है, सो विद दिस सायोनारा and good night, and see you tomorrow again at the same time, same place. Zoom पे मिलते हैं, and keep learning and keep growing. Thank you.